United Kingdom general elections are on the 4th of July. Incumbent Prime Minister Rishi Sunak being challenged by Labour leader Keir Starmer. While the election campaigning is on, I noticed the attempt has been to convince the British voters for a strong, stable next government. But specifically, there has been an attempt by both the parties and both the leaders to try and attract the British Hindu voters. According to the 2021 census in England and Wales, around 1 million people in Britain identify as Hindus, making this electorate now a significant factor. And I'll explain to you how. According to a platform, Hindus for Democracy in the United Kingdom, Hindus make up approximately 1.7% of the total population. That may not seem like a high number, but despite these small numbers, they make significant contributions to the UK's economy through tax and a National Health Service, the NHS, as doctors, nurses, engineers. They're also business owners, providing employment for tens of thousands of people in and around Britain. Most Hindus who moved from India or were born in the UK have performed well in education. They are thereby self-sufficient, they are independent. Many families are affluent by the second generation. But that is not all. Perhaps, and this could be the most important too, British Hindus have largely been law-abiding citizens in the UK. They are less than 0.3% of the UK prison population, and that says a lot. So 44-year-old Rishi Sunak, with Hindu ancestry, jumped on this. He recently visited the Baps Sri Swaminarayan Mandir, and this is what he said.
I am a Hindu, and like all of you, I draw inspiration and comfort from my faith. It is Dharma which guides me in my approach to public service.
On the other hand, 61-year-old Keir Starmer, the Labour leader, chose the North London Swaminarayan Temple in Kingsbury. He reiterated his commitment for the welfare of Hindu community and to build a strong partnership with India. Importantly, he also condemned Hindu phobia, condemned the attacks at Hindus and pledged to do public seva. There's also been a marked difference in how Hindus are reacting and responding to issues in the UK. The Hindu community has started to speak up. They've become active participants in politics in and around the United Kingdom. Some members recently formed a platform and launched the first ever Hindu Manifesto. It was by a coalition of British Hindu organizations. The manifesto urges elected officials to safeguard Hindu places of worship that have been recently targeted, to combat anti-Hindu sentiments, thereby highlighting significant contributions of the Hindu community in the United Kingdom's social, cultural and economic fabric. In fact, the manifesto makes some very specific mentions. To recognize Hindu phobia as a hate crime, to protect Hindu temples from vandalism, to include the Hinduism faith in the school curriculum up to the GCSE level, appoint the Hindu chaplains in public institutions, and importantly streamline the visa process, for example, the Hindu priests or the dependents to the families.
In terms of the impact of the community, obviously Hindu community is quite influential in certain pockets of the country. The large concentration is in London. So I think, expect that there will be at least 10 to 15 constituencies where Hindu vote would matter significantly, and there could be another 15 to 20 where there will be some impact of Hindu vote or the wider minority vote. So all of these signs tell us that the 1.8 million strong Hindu community cannot be ignored. They contribute more than 4 or 5% to the GDP of the country. They are well integrated. They are an influential community. They are strong both in profession as well as in business and highly educated.
Hindus have largely been successful as individuals in the United Kingdom. Now they're also getting together to stand united and ask for deserving acknowledgement by the authorities and netas. They've decided to raise their voice now when they feel targeted or ignored. And the United Kingdom leaders have been forced to take note of their voice too. Let me take you to history or to black and white archive visuals. Hindu voters in the United Kingdom have had a fascinating political journey. In the 1960s and the 1970s, specifically when their numbers started to increase, according to our research, British Indian Hindu immigrants largely supported the Labour Party. Labour Party back then had a pro-immigrant stance championed by Prime Minister Harold Wilson through the Race Relations Act of 1965. It resonated with many of them. But toward 2010, there seemed to be a shift that was being noticed. many British Indian Hindus started to support the Conservative Party. Specifically, when David Cameron was the Prime Minister, the Conservative Party appeared to actively recruit Indian origin candidates, also appealing thereby to the increasingly affluent and integrated second and third generation British Indian Hindus. It was the election of Jeremy Corbyn as Labour leader in 2015, with his stance on issues like Kashmir, which seemed more pro-Pakistan, more encouraging toward the extremists, rather than helping or raising voice, for example, for the Hindu minority that continued to be attacked in Kashmir. Because of this, it pushed many British Indian Hindu voters toward the Conservative Party even more. The tipping point came in 2019, when the Labour passed a motion supporting Kashmir's separation from India. It caused a significant backlash from the Indian diaspora in the UK. The Indian High Commission in London even cancelled its annual reception with Labour Friends of India, marking a significant downturn in the relationship. And this showed in the next results. The support for Conservatives increased, especially when Rishi Sunak won. In 2022, the appointment of Rishi Sunak after the abrupt departure of Liz Truss as the first British Hindu Prime Minister strengthened the bond between the Hindu voters and the Conservative Party. It also reflected on Rishi Sunak and the community of how the Hindu faith has helped in all good things in their rise. Rishi Sunak has been a very interesting Prime Minister for the UK. Born and bred a British, allegiance to the Constitution, also very open about practicing his Hindu faith, and will now be hopeful of a rerun. So as I conclude, this election in the UK will be very crucial, as much for the British Hindu voter who has had the attention of both the Labour Party and the Conservatives. But importantly, it will be the deciding factor of alliance with India, which is also now a strong, stable economy. So who will the British Hindu voter then give a chance to? Will it be to Starmer this time, or a rerun for Rishi Sunak? We'll be keeping a close track of it. Thank you for watching the latest Homeland episode.